صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع ذنوبنا الرسول المسدد المصطفى الأمجد أبا القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين، روحي وأرواح العالمين لتراب مقدمه الفداء عجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. رب أرني الحق حقا فأتبعه والباطل باطلا فأجتنبه ولا تجعله متشابها علي فأتبع هواي بغير علم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. My respected brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is once again a pleasure to join you, to come together and to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and remember the Ahlul Bayt and the tragedy that befell Muhammad and Al Muhammad on these nights that are upcoming in the month of Muharram. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ إِذْ بَعَثَ فِيهِمْ رَسُولًا مِنْ أَنفُسِهِمْ يَتْلُو عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتِهِ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَإِنْ كَانُوا مِنْ قَبْلُ لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. The English translation of the verse is as follows. Allah certainly favored the faithful when He raised up among them an apostle from among themselves to recite to them His signs and to purify them and to teach them the book and wisdom. And earlier they had indeed been in manifest error. That is in the 3rd chapter of the Quran, verse 164. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala highlights the role of the messengers that He has sent to us. The messengers that out of His grace and out of His love and out of His kindness for us, He sent. For if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not send any messenger, any imam for us, we would not know what was expected from us. And so in Arabic they call this qa'idatul lutf, which is the rule of grace and kindness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from His mercy, He has sent to us the messengers. Hence, that's why the Quran says, لَقَدْ مَنَّ اللَّهُ. And man in Arabic means blessing, means favors. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown extreme favors upon us, the believers, when He sent to us the likes of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Now, Allahumma salli ala. Now in these verses, in this verse, Allah says the Prophet, He highlights two main tasks for the Prophet and the Apostle of his. One is to purify them, which is the people. And the second one is to teach them the book. And the discussion of today has to do with the purification. Yesterday we discussed having the purpose, and that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran, you were not created in vain, and to us you shall return. And so we said, if Allah said you weren't created in vain, that means you have a purpose. And we highlighted that in this world, struggle is inevitable. There is no avoiding struggle. Rather, it's necessary for your growth. And finally, we said that the goal for us is to try to reflect and to manifest the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the human being in his own fitrah he's innately inclined towards the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is the all-perfect, and so we all seek perfection. So today, inshallah, self-purification is going to be the discussion and the topic that we, inshallah, discuss and talk about. Self-purification is the role of the Prophet, as we indicated, and it is necessary on our journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Ya ayyuha al-insan, innaka kadihun ila rabbika kadhan famulaqih. O you human being, you're going to strive. You're going to strive until you meet your Lord. The meeting of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is for sure. It's absolute. Everyone will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But the condition you meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala differs from one to the other. What was the difference between Sayyid al-Shuhada alayhi salam and those who were with him versus the camp of Umar ibn Sa'd and Yazid ibn Muawiyah? The difference was that those with the Imam, they worked on themselves. They purified themselves. On the opposition, they didn't work on themselves. On the opposition, they were promised worldly promises, such as positions in the government, such as money. That's why in the story of Karbala, we find after the martyrs were killed, they would go and they would seek bodies to behead them, so that they can return this head back to the tyrant of the time, and he would give them a reward. And so the one who doesn't work on this self, and the one who doesn't tame the self, and at least strive to better the self, they're easily vulnerable in the battlefield with the nafs and the shaitan. So why purify the self, you might ask? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for one, has sent His Prophet for this specific task. So if Allah wants this from me, then we know there is good in it. The second thing is, twice in the Quran, the word of success, falah in Arabic, is matched with the word of tazkiyah. Allah says in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا وَقَدْ خَابَ مَنْ دَسَّاهَا. The ha is discussing the nafs. In another verse, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ تَزَكَّى وَذَكَرَ اسْمَ رَبِّهِ فَصَلَّى in Surah Al-A'la. That successful is the one who purifies it. So if we want to be someone who reaches success, and success is holistic, it's not sufficient for us to just reach success in the dunya, which is good though. You want to be successful in this world, but it needs to be both-sided, where it's the dunya and the akhirah. And it's a balance, where you have a vision for both. The verses indicate that to be successful in the next world, you need to have this very important component, which is the tazkiyah of the nafs. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Yesterday we mentioned the story that Rasulullah mentioned to a group of people. He said to them when they came back from the battle, welcome to a people that have finished the minor struggle. And what awaits them is the major struggle. And so you might think, what is this battle with the self that we keep saying, tazkiyat an-nafs? What is this battle that is constantly being pushed and constantly being emphasized? Jihad an-nafs is simple. look at yourself in times when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to do something. If you feel there's something that is pulling you away, there's some gravitational pull that is taking you away from that, that is the nafs, and that is where the battle begins for you. For example, it is time for namaz, it's time for salah. You're sitting, you're playing Xbox or PlayStation, right? We know that the salah is best in the beginning of the time. And we're all guilty of this, but this is where the heart is tested. Salah time comes. We don't think of it this way, but if salah arrives and I'm doing something such as playing video games, or I'm talking to a friend, or fill in the blank, whatever scenario we want, subconsciously, where are we placing that priority? Are we giving priority to salah, or are we giving priority to the other task? We're giving priority to the other task. If we had a meeting with anybody that had some kind of important position in society, we would be very diligent with our time, we would be punctual. If it was a job interview, you want to look the best. But why is that we don't do the same with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when the Ahlul Bayt used to do that? In the narrations, the Ahlul Bayt, when they would stand for prayer, there are certain traditions that mention they would tremble. And sometimes they would turn yellow. And then they would ask them, why? Why are you so scared? They would say, do you not know who it is that I am going to stand in front of? This is the creator of the heavens and the earth. And the Ahlul Bayt, because of the knowledge that they had, because they understood Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala very well, they felt those kind of effects. And you can see it. You can see the trembling on their own bodies. So that's the jihad of the self that we discuss. That is when you see something that Allah doesn't want you to see. Do you look away like Allah expects us to look away? That's jihad al-nafs. When prayer time comes, when Shahr Ramadan comes and you have to fast, and you can't have water from the beginning of the day till the end of the day. And so on and so forth. Wherever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects you to be, there's jihad. Because the nafs doesn't always want what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. And so that's where the struggle lies. And you're dead in the middle. You have the self, you have what Allah wants. And they're tugging at you, right? You have this nafs al-ammara in Arabic. We can elaborate a little bit on this. And then you have the nafs, not the lawama, but the nafs that is mutma'inna. It's like a spectrum. Ayatollah Misbah al-Yazdi, may Allah bless him and express His mercy upon the Ayatollah. He passed away not too long ago. In his book, which is called As-Sayr ila-Allah, the journeying to Allah, he talks about tazkiyat al-nafs, and he says that the proper usage of this word is used on a tree. And I love the example of the tree because in Islam, it is used in so many different places. Rasulullah says in a hadith that the Ahlul Bayt, they're like a tree. And then in one of the du'as, he says that me and Ali are from the same tree. And the rest of the people are from different trees. And so there's a lot of parables in which the tree is used. Ayatollah Misbah al-Yazdi says, you have a tree, and it needs the proper nutrition, the proper light, the proper watering in order to grow. And you have to prune the tree where it grows, and the branches that you don't need, you cut off. In Arabic, that's called tazkiyah, where you maintain it in the best possible way you can maintain it. You take away, you cut off the things that are unnecessary, and you preserve that which is necessary. He says in the book that you do the same thing with the self. And the difference between you and the tree is that you have willpower. And that willpower is what controls you and what leads you to the decisions that you eventually make. And that's what controls the outcome of our life when it is time for salah. Are we able to stand, or are we going to be among those who put Allah second? Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Another salat, please.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
The Holy Quran says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We talked about success. The Quran mentions that with purification comes success. In another verse it says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna al-khasirina alladhina khasiru anfusahum wa ahlihim yawm al-qiyamah, ala dhalik huwa al-khusran al-mubin. Say, indeed the losers are those who ruin themselves and their families on the day of resurrection. Look, that is a manifest loss. So from the book of Allah, we have seen two sides. One, discussing success. And now this is the one that discusses those who are in loss on the day of judgment. The ones who lose themselves, and very notable, not just themselves, وَأَهْلِيهِمْ. The Quran stresses on the family. In another verse it says, قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا. Protect and shield yourself and your families from a fire in which its own logs are humans and wood and other aspects. I forgot the specific word in Arabic. But the point is that the family and the self, they're combined together in these verses, and the one who loses them and doesn't protect them is in great loss on the day of judgment. Amir al-Mu'mineen in a hadith, he says, it is indeed strange to see someone so desperately looking for lost personal things while making absolutely no efforts to his lost human self. So if we take one thing away from today's talk, that is to promise ourselves and to promise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that in these nights of Muharram, we want to be individuals who commit to bettering themselves, commit to being companions of the Imam, Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman, Ajjalallah ta'ala farajuhu al-Sharif. For if the Imam was to reappear today and we're not ready and we haven't worked on ourselves, how much can we benefit the Imam? How much can we tell the Imam, listen, I'm with you? But if he looks at our actions and what we're doing and our tendencies and our habits, how much can we present to the Imam? So the journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the purpose which we mentioned yesterday go hand in hand. The goal has to always be in mind. And the goal is that we want to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a sound heart. And that is done through the servitude towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But that can't be done unless you're in control of your own ship. and you're the captain of your own ship. And when the storm gets strong, and when the waves are strong, you're able to keep sailing in the right direction. You're able to continue and see the end of the tunnel, as they say. Because it can get difficult. In today's age, it can get difficult to know exactly what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects from you. But that's why we refer back to our scholars, that's why we refer back to those who have knowledge, so that they can connect us with the Ahlul Bayt and they can guide us. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Another salawat ala Muhammad wa ali
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
The Holy Prophet says, Bismillah, the Holy Prophet says, ما يوضع في ميزان امرئ يوم القيامة أفضل من حسن الخلق. There's nothing better than good moral conduct which could be written on the letter of deeds. That's the final point, inshallah, we'll dive into. And the goal of the prophets, and we have in our hadith that the Prophet was sent to perfect the morals of human beings. He purifies them, and he teaches them the book, and he perfects their akhlaq. For the one who has knowledge without akhlaq, we have in our traditions that is not someone who has allowed that knowledge to reflect onto their character and their behavior. And so, the ethics that Rasulullah came goes hand in hand with Jihad al-Nafs, with the battle of the self, where you, if you want to be someone who has tamed that self, like Ali ibn Abi Talib, in which we mentioned yesterday in the letter, when he writes to Uthman ibn Hunayf, and he tells him that this is myself, أُرَوِّضُهَا بِالتَّقْوَى. I train it with taqwa so that it can be sound and safe on the day of judgment. That self is what we have to invest in. The akhlaq aspect of it, the knowledge aspect of it, so that we can be individuals that stand with the Imam Salamullah alayh, and we can be among those who, when Imam al-Mahdi wants to come and he wants to seek the revenge for his grandfather Abu Abdullah al-Hussein, we are right there with him, inshaAllah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله عليك يا رسول الله. صلى الله عليك يا أبا عبد الله. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you, Ya Rasulullah. May the peace and blessings be upon you and upon your grandson Hussein. Ya Habibi, Ya Hussein. نور عيني يا حسين. Oh, the light of my eyes, Oh, the love of my heart, Ya Aboukhodr. Brothers and sisters, for a brief moment, let us close our eyes and take our hearts to the land of Karbala, to the land of Abdullah al-Hussein, to the land of the heroes of the tragedy of Karbala. The caravan of Abdullah al-Hussein is currently headed towards that land. What awaits these young daughters of Hussein is thirst. What awaits the family members of Abdullah is severed limbs and broken hearts that will take place in Karbala. Oh, my beloved Master, Sahib al-Asri wa-Zaman, in what condition do you remember your grandfather? How does your heart accept the news of the arrival of Muharram? Oh, Muharram, have mercy upon his heart.
Dust of my tomb,
When
Mother, remember your son when you see.
one by the Euphrates,
She looks back at her son and she goes and she tells him of tomorrow. Oh, my son, listen to me closely. It is now time for you to leave me. But remember this one thing: don't leave your uncle.
One by the Euphrates River, he lies dead. Another of the spears of Umayyah raised his head. Yet the greatest tragedy we recall is the woman standing with no help at all. ألا لعنة الله على قوم الظالمين سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون والعاقبة للمتقين. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless us with His mercy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to be among those who are able to tame the self and be among the companions of Imam al-Mahdi, just like the companions of Imam al-Hussein stood by their Imam. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to cure all those who are ill, especially those among us. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant relief to all those oppressed around the world. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to preserve our respected jurists, our maraja, may Allah bless them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give to all that we have recited to our deceased ones, our beloved ones who have traveled into the next world. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them and have mercy on them during these nights of Muharram and allow them to share in the reward that we gain as we recall the grandson of Rasulullah. Inshallah, for that we recite Surah Al-Mubarakatul Fatiha, but before it, Ilad Salawat ala Muhammad wa Ali Muhammad.